Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. We are lucky to be here with Neal Smith. He is the founder of NSJ Construction. Welcome, Neal.
Thank you.
Yeah. This guy he spent over 20 years in the construction industry, building residential, commercial, and multi-family projects. And he got his construction management degree at ASU over there in Arizona. A lot warmer over there compared to Idaho. I'm sure it was hard to come back.
It was.
But being a born and bred person here in Idaho and Idaho Falls, you got to come back to your roots. So welcome again, and we're happy to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Cool. Before we get into it, we have to take our quick sponsorship time out. We're sponsored by Health West. These guys are a fantastic organization throughout Idaho and even outside of Idaho now. But give them a Google, find out where they're closest to you, and they can help you, your family, your loved ones with their medical needs. Okay, Neal, you've been in the construction industry pretty much your whole life.
Pretty much, yep.
Especially the niche of framing.
Correct. Yeah, we've been framing. I've been framing for most of my career, but as NSJ, we've been in business as it stands about 6 years as the framing company. So
yeah, and then so over this, your stint of as framing and this 6 years, you kind of noticed, hey, you know what? All these framers are doing this framing the same way. There's maybe got to be a better way.
Sure.
So let's dig into that a little bit. And now that you've opened this new plant over in the Rexburg area.
It's in Idaho Falls area.
Idaho Falls, okay.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we frame and we've got gentlemen and ladies out there that frame with us, and we've been framing. They go stick framing for years, and the system works, and they've done it that same way for generations of time. And we got to a point where COVID really hit, and we had labor issues, and we were fighting with trying to maintain schedules, but not having the people we needed. And so that's really where the research started for us. My background is in military housing, where we did large scale projects. A lot of homes in short periods of time, and the process required some way of speeding it up. And so they started doing panelized construction, where they could get shipments of panels in, and we could build houses in short periods of time. And so we started looking at the panelized market and did our research and procured some equipment, and we're now producing panels out of the shop full time. And it's a tremendous asset to us. And we started originally framing for ourselves, like build the panels just for the projects we have going on for ourselves. And it started to, as we are out in the market or out in the area, people notice what's happening, how much quicker it's going, how much faster we're putting buildings together. And so calls started coming in, and so we're starting to sell panels to contractors other than ourselves, and they're noticing the differences as well. So it's been nice. I think it's a good asset to the area.
I think it's fantastic. We've, especially through the pandemic, we've talked a lot about, especially on this show, about having the ability to pivot especially when the workforce was down and it was hard to find people, to come into your business and to hire. I know here in Pocatello, they do a combine, like a big old construction combine. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah.
Home Depot parking lot, just to try to get more people interested in the trades. And I think that's an interesting thing that they've done to get people more interested that way. But I think this is a really interesting take that you've gone with here. That, hey, you know what? It's harder to find people. How can we be more efficient with this process of framing? Obviously, framing still has to be done in these buildings. How can we take this and be more efficient and even make it more cost effective, probably, for these builders that don't have to put that much more. Well, I guess it saves them time and labor, and erecting these panels up.
Correct. Yeah. So what we found is we start with our own personal crews. We were able to really look at what it saves us and the time it saves us, the labor it saves us, and we can save our own personal crews roughly 40% of their time out in the field. So they can put a building together 40% faster than we typically could when we were stick framing it. So what that saves us in is there's a tremendous amount of labor per building, and so that it gets us puts us able to get to the next building that much faster, generating more revenue. The cost, then, we were able to really look at that, and it only equates to running the panels. And so with an increase of 20% in cost, we were able to save 40% of our time. And so overall, it saved us about 20% per building.
Holy smokes.
Which is tremendous. And I think the time aspect alone for a developer or a homeowner or whoever we're doing the project for is huge on their loans and their, just the time frame, getting people in and out quicker. And because the framer typically spends the most amount of time on the job in any one block. And so if we can shave 40% of our time off the job, it's awesome. Tremendous save.
That is a game changer, for sure.
Yeah.
You and I were talking before we hit record, and I think it was an interesting point to bring up that, these framing crews are less physically sore and less taxed the day after doing erecting one of these projects compared to the traditional way. And, me being a business owner that goes, has a lot of labor hours, I know that's key, because we'll hire people on, and they'll go through a few days. They're like, oh my gosh, this is way too taxing. I can't do this. But then I can see, going to this type of build compared to the traditional type. And they're like, holy smokes, this is night and day.
Yeah.
I can do this a lot longer than I can do the traditional type of framing. So this is a game changer, Neal.
No, we believe it is too. And it's even more so wintertime, because again, stick framing in the wintertime, I might get out there one morning and start laying some walls out on the floor, because that's where you build them, is on the floor. You get everything put together. And if I get it stood up by the end of the day, that's great. But inevitably, there's always a wall or two that you don't quite finish. And so you save it for the next day. Mm-hmm. Well, Mother Nature being what it is in the wintertime, you might come back to a foot of snow. Now you got to go looking for that wall that's on the ground, or all those blocks that you cut, or all those studs that are laying out. You got to go dig them out, find them, clean the whole floor off, and then start. So you might lose an hour, maybe 2 hours a day just shoveling snow.
Wow.
Now, if I just have a clear slab or a clear floor to work with, I can stand a wall up and then move on. I don't have pieces I'm going to lose in the snow. I don't have, random walls I've got to go dig out and find and redo, because it's now I mess them up because I'm digging snow out in them. And then if I need to start again, if it does snow, I just scrape snow off the top plates of my wall and keep going. And so just such a huge time saver for us in the wintertime.
Yeah. I'm not in the construction world, but that I didn't think about that. But that's a huge one right there.
Yeah.
I always call it getting ready to get ready,
Yeah.
Because that adds so much, time, because you're paying those people the same amount if they're shoveling snow or if they're hammering nails.
Yep.
That's
And
key.
we can put them to work quicker. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And those who are listening right now, be thinking and like, what's my game changer in my industry? What can I do to, how can I prefabricate the walls in my business, even though whatever business you're in, because this is a game changer. But everyone has that in their industries, that they can be more efficient in this way or another. They can all find these different ways to automate and be more efficient.
Sure.
So
sure. Even in an industry like framing, where people are there's nothing really wrong with the way you're doing it, but I think there's always ways to improve, and we're always looking for that here. So
yeah, like I mentioned before, like you're kind of the Uber to the taxi industry. You're an industry, and I think that's it's going to be a game changer for the people that aren't currently doing it that way. They're going to see this is the way of the future. So especially with the workforce going.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, I love this. Well, let's kind of get into this lightning round here. So I don't want to keep you all day here, Neal. I know you're a busy guy.
Well, that's fine.
Well, the lightning round is sponsored by one of our companies. That's New Clean Commercial Cleaning, doing all the fun stuff from toilets to carpet cleaning to all the fun things that everyone else loves to do on their own, but they rather hire someone else to do it. So if you call us in 208-254-7070 and you tell us you heard about us on the podcast, we'll give you one sterilization, which helps eliminate the flu and all that crap from your office, kind of give you a restart and keep your employees healthy absolutely for free just by mentioning you heard about us on the podcast. So there you go, guys. Neal, have you read a book or maybe used a tool or a software recently that's just kind of been a good game changer for you?
We use pretty heavily a program called Solid Builder, which is just tremendous for us, and it saves us so much time and energy in what we do. And I've been a part of helping create some updates for it as well, so that things get more streamlined for us in panels. And so it's been a good program for us.
That's great. So very industry specific too.
Yeah. Yep.
That's great to find stuff like that. That's great.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question. Biggest myth business owners need to know the truth about. What would you say?
Well, biggest myth. I think it's businesses are a lot more work than anyone really says they are. It just when my 9 to 5 is over, my business, I really start to work. That's that after hour stuff that happens behind the scene that no one ever sees. So that's probably my biggest thing.
That's true. No one sees the fun of the finances and all the other things that go on to keep people paid here and there and everything else, insurance requirements and all the fun stuff. I
think it's great. I get to go home early and, go snowmobiling or skiing or motorcycle riding. No, it's a lot of hours sitting here in the dark, just working.
Right. That's right. And once in a while you can get out to go snowmobiling or dirt biking. Yeah. It's fun, but they don't see the other times for sure. So, okay. Last question. What was one question I should have asked that I did not, and what would be your answer to that?
Should have asked but didn't. I don't know. I think panelization is just an automation that I'm building things. A lot of people, I guess and it might even answer some of that myth question or the things that people don't know. There's a misnomer, kind of a negative connotation to when you use the word pre-manufactured. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people in this area that think that pre-manufactured means lower quality or less accuracy, a lesser product, and that's not the case here. Here at NSJ, and even with panelization nowadays, we build with the same materials, we build in the same quality, we do it the same process that you do it out in the field. The only difference is we're doing it up on a table with equipment that helps make sure and ensure that it's square, it's level, it's plumb, it's accurate. The equipment we have cuts everything to plus or minus a 1/16 of an inch. So the accuracy is just tremendous, but it really just is. It's not a substandard product. I think it's a better product.
That sounds like it for sure. Hey, you got to think about the environment you're in. These guys are in a warmer environment. They're not in the cold. Their hands, their dexterity is better and everything when you're out,
Yep.
in the shop. So
yeah, we're not dealing with weather. We're not dealing with heat or any of that kind of stuff. So
that's fantastic. Well, great, Neal. Appreciate you being on the show. If people are listening, especially those that are in the construction trades, and they're thinking, "Holy smokes, this is a game changer," what would be the best way to get a hold of NSJ and yourself?
We've got a website out there. It's nsjconstruction.com. You can go ahead and look there, and all our contact information is there. You can find us on Google. We're listed there as well. Phone number here at the shop is 208-522-9220. So,
and I appreciate it. This is a cool episode. I love hearing about people disrupting and people finding ways to be more efficient in their businesses and their trades. So this is pretty cool. So I congratulate what you're doing, Neal. So
thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah. Again, and everyone else listening, like always, go out, be happy, be grateful, and find opportunities to go serve others. And thanks again, Neal.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.